Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows the moments leading up to when police say 23-year-old Justin Dion Turner shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Crystal Williams, and her mother, 46-year-old Danyel Sims. Police say Turner cut off the family's vehicle with his car as they exited the Dunwoody Glen apartments Sunday night. That's when he gets out, gun in hand, shooting and killing the two women.
It was a Sunday night in September. A mother loaded her children into an SUV and pulled toward the exit of a Dunwoody apartment complex. She had plans to be home before the night was over. She called her husband on the way out to let him know. She said, "I'm getting ready to drop them off and I'll be home." She never came home. What happened in the next few minutes at the entrance of Dunwoody Glen Apartments in Atlanta, Georgia, would leave a family shattered, a community in disbelief, and a young man's name permanently attached to one of the most cold-blooded acts of domestic violence the state had seen in years.
A family shattered by violence. A young woman's boyfriend now charged with killing her and her mother. Her brother was also hurt but survived, telling John Sherrick his sister was trying to get away from her boyfriend when he opened fire.
Two women were dead. A teenage boy lay wounded on the pavement. And the man responsible? He jumped back in his car and drove away into the Atlanta night. This is the story of Crystal Williams, a 22-year-old woman who simply wanted to go home, and the man who made sure she never got there. Stay with me, because this story is going to make you feel something. And before we get into it, hit that subscribe button right now. We drop new cases every week, and you do not want to miss what's coming. Drop a comment below and tell me, what state or country are you watching from? I love seeing where our community comes from all around the world. Crystal Sharice Williams was 22 years old. She lived in Dunwoody, Georgia, but her roots ran deeper. She was known for what her family described as a brand of gutsiness rooted in her New York City upbringing. Her father, Mark Williams, spoke at the vigil held in her honor, telling the crowd, "If you knew Crystal, you knew that she was not a pushover, but she was a loving person that always would tell you how she felt. She brought a spark, and she liked to have fun." Her brother Malachi, who survived that terrible night, described her simply and perfectly. "My sister was a funny one," he said. "She was just like life of everything." Behind Crystal stood her mother, Danyel Sims, 46 years old, from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Those who knew her described Danyel as caring, charismatic, and nurturing. She was a kind of woman who showed up for her children, loudly, proudly, and without hesitation. Her Facebook page was filled with posts celebrating Crystal's achievements, including her progress in the healthcare field, a future Danyel clearly believed in with everything she had. Then there was Malachi, Crystal's 18-year-old brother, a senior at Brookwood High School, and the youngest of three who would get into that SUV on the night everything changed. This was a family full of love, and that love was exactly what made what happened next so devastating. Crystal had been in a relationship with a 23-year-old man named Justin Dion Turner. The two had lived together for about 2 months, according to Crystal's stepfather. It was not a long relationship, but it was apparently a troubled one. Her parents knew the relationship had problems, but had hoped the couple could work things out. Crystal made a different decision. She decided to end it and leave. Her family supported her completely, but Turner did not accept it. Malachi later said his sister had tried to get away from Turner before and could not. That detail alone tells you something about the dynamic of this relationship. Something controlling. Something that made leaving feel impossible for a young woman who, by every account, was nobody's pushover. And there's something else that matters here. This was not Turner's first encounter with the law. Records show he had been arrested in Stone Mountain in April of that same year and released from DeKalb County Jail 4 days later. That arrest stemmed from a January 2018 incident involving 13 charges, including aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer and fleeing or attempting to elude police. Prosecutors had disposed of 12 of those charges just days before the shooting took place. The warning signs were there. They always are. On the night of Sunday, September 6, 2020, Danyel Sims was at the Dunwoody Glen Apartments, planning to drop off Crystal and Turner at their apartment before heading home to her husband. But Crystal had other plans. She was done. She was leaving Turner for good, and she was going home with her mother and her brother. The family, Crystal, Danyel, Malachi, and a juvenile, were all in an SUV, pulling out of the apartment complex. That's when Justin Turner made his move, according to Dunwoody Police Sergeant Robert Parsons. The four were traveling in their SUV out of the Dunwoody Glen apartments when Mr. Turner pulled his vehicle in front of them, cutting them off. He then exited the vehicle, firing multiple shots. But Malachi was there, and he described what actually happened in those moments, up close, in a way no police report ever could. Out of nowhere, Justin cuts us off and comes out with a gun, Malachi said. He pulls Crystal out at gunpoint, and my mom gets outside. Danyel Sims got out of that SUV knowing full well there was a man with a gun standing in front of her children. She got out anyway. According to family members, Danyel jumped in front of Crystal and Malachi, using her own body as a shield against the bullets. My mom is over her, using herself as a shield for my sister, Malachi said. And he was point blank, like he was right there. And he just shot, boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, I guess he just pointed at me. He just wanted me dead. Police found 8 shell casings in front of the family's SUV. Crystal Williams died at the scene. Danyel Sims was rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, where she later died from her wounds. Malachi Williams was taken to Atlanta Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. The juvenile in the back seat was not hurt. Turner got back in his car and drove away.
Her mother and brother all shot, 2 of them killed. Police say the victim's boyfriend pulled the trigger. Authorities tell us they found the 3 victims around 10:30 on Sunday night at the Dunwoody Glen Apartments. That's off Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. A mother and her adult daughter and son all were shot, 2 of them killed. The third is being treated at Atlanta Medical Center. Investigators have not released any names or said which family members survived. You can check the 11 Alive app for the very latest updates.
Family shattered by violence. A young woman's boyfriend now charged with killing her and her mother. Her brother was also shot. Her brother lived to tell the story. He tells our John Sherrick his sister was trying to get away from her boyfriend when he opened fire. And John joins us live tonight from Dunwoody with a scene this young man saw, John, that I'm sure he will never forget.
The brother talked with me on the phone tonight, telling me how the sister's boyfriend came after the family last night with a gun here at Dunwoody Glen Apartments. He described how their mother gave her life to save her children's lives, jumping in front of the gun as the boyfriend opened fire. A mother trying to protect her children with her life.
She wasn't kidding when she said she'd die for her children.
Sunday night, Danyel Sims used her body as a shield, trying to save her 22-year-old daughter, Crystal Williams, and 18-year-old son, Malachi Williams. That's what Malachi told me on the phone. He said his sister, Crystal, was arguing with her live-in boyfriend, 23-year-old Justin Dion Turner, and she was trying to get away from him to go home with her mother. And as Crystal and the family were driving out of the apartment complex, Malachi said Turner blocked them with his car.
And out of nowhere, Justin cuts us off and comes out with a gun. And he pulls Crystal out at gunpoint. My mom gets outside. And my mom is over her, using herself as a shield for my sister. And he was point blank, like he was right there, and he just shot. Boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, I guess he just pointed it at me. He just wanted me dead. I don't know how he missed.
Malachi was wounded.
Justin Turner initially escaped but was later apprehended by detectives somewhere in Atlanta.
First new at 11, a suspect in custody tonight after a triple shooting leaves a mother and daughter dead in DeKalb County.
Yes, Rick and Tracy, the suspect, 23-year-old Justin Turner, has been apprehended by Dunwoody police.
He now faces charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
Just a few hours from now, the man accused of violently ambushing and killing his ex-girlfriend and her mother as they were leaving their apartment complex in Dunwoody will face a judge. CBS 46's Trayson Bragg is live outside the DeKalb County Jail where the suspect is right now with what really can be described only as disturbing surveillance video from what happened, Trayson.
Yeah, Gavir, it's very difficult to watch the surveillance video, but as you said, 23-year-old Justin Dion Turner is locked up In the DeKalb County Jail, which you see here behind me, officials say today at 1 p.m. he'll get his first opportunity to see a judge. Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows the moments leading up to when police say 23-year-old Justin Dion Turner shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Crystal Williams, and her mother, 46-year-old Danyel Sims. Police say Turner cut off the family's vehicle with his car as they exited the Dunwoody Glen apartments Sunday night. That's when he gets out, gun in hand, shooting and killing the two women. According to investigators also say he shot Williams' 18-year-old brother, who luckily survived the vicious attack.
Now he has the rest of his life to think about that bad decision in a moment of passion. And he ruined his life, he took other lives, and it's just senseless.
Again, today at 1 is when officials say Turner will get his first appearance before a judge. Coming up at 6:30, I'll tell you more about what investigators had to say about the double murder.
The DeKalb County man accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend and her mother appeared in court today. Investigators say Justin Turner also shot a third person who survived.
CBS 46's Adam Murphy covered the case in court today as Turner heard the charges against him.
Your charges are going to be those types of charges that I cannot set bond on.
Just after 1 o'clock Wednesday, DeKalb County Magistrate Judge Joyce Neal announced she could not set bond for 23-year-old Justin Turner.
So what will happen is your attorney will file a bond motion. It usually takes about 2 or 3 weeks to get before a judge, and then a superior court judge will make a decision about whether or not to grant bond.
Turner is charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Crystal Williams, and her mother, Danyel Sims. The incident happened outside the Dunwoody Glen apartment Sunday night, terrorizing the community.
And it was scary that we had to lock our doors because he was still on the loose, and we didn't know the nationality of the person that did it because everything was just blocked out. So we could have been walking into a stranger and it could have been a shooter, so we were just unaware, but we was cautious at the same time.
He took somebody's life just because, they had some kind of domestic dispute.
It is senseless, it is heartbreaking, and it just make our community even more stronger and tighter that, you'll never know when it's your last day. And it's just sad. I just sum it up, just sad.
Turner showed no emotion and had nothing to say while in court today. He will now go before a superior court judge in a couple of weeks.
Now that you've heard directly from the people who live this, let's put the full picture together. Crystal Sheries Williams was 22 years old. By every account from the people who knew and loved her, she was funny, bold, and full of life. She was pursuing a future in healthcare, and her mother, Danyel Sims, never missed a chance to celebrate that, posting about Crystal's achievements, cheering her on, showing the world exactly how proud she was of the young woman her daughter was becoming. Danyel Sims was 46 years old, a wife, a mother, a woman described by everyone around her as caring, charismatic, and nurturing. Her husband said that every single morning she woke up, she had a smile for him. That smile is what he carries now. And then there was Malachi, Crystal's 18-year-old brother, a senior in high school, the youngest of 3 who got into that SUV that night. Crystal had been in a relationship with 23-year-old Justin Dion Turner. They had lived together for roughly 2 months. But Crystal saw what the relationship was, and she made the decision to end it and leave. Her family stood behind that decision completely. Turner, however, had a very different response. On the night of September 6, 2020, Danyel drove to Dunwoody Glen Apartments to pick up Crystal. Crystal was done. She was leaving for good, and she was going home with her mother and her brother. They loaded into the SUV and headed for the exit. That is when Turner made his move. He pulled his car directly in front of theirs, cutting them off at the exit. He got out. He had a gun. He pulled Crystal out of the vehicle at gunpoint. And Danyel Sims, a mother watching a man point a weapon at her daughter, got out of that SUV. She did not run. She did not hide. She stepped directly in front of her children and used her own body as a shield. Turner opened fire at point-blank range. Boom, boom, boom. 8 shell casings were later recovered at the scene. Crystal was killed right there. Danyel was rushed to the hospital, where she later died from her wounds. Malachi was shot but survived. A juvenile in the back seat was unharmed. Turner got back in his car and drove away. He was found in Atlanta the following afternoon. Detectives located him and took him into custody after a foot chase. He was charged with 2 counts of murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and 3 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He was denied bond, and when he stood before a judge, he showed absolutely no emotion. 9 days after the shooting, nearly 100 people gathered at Dunwoody Glen Apartments at dusk, the exact spot where it all happened, holding candles and speaking the names of Crystal and Danyel out loud. Malachi did not speak that night, but he sent a message to his father, calling his mother and his sister the greatest women he had ever known in his life. Here is what this story demands we sit with. Crystal did everything right. She recognized the relationship was wrong. She made the decision to leave. She had her family with her, and it still cost her life. The truth that cases like this one force us to face is this. Possessiveness is not passion. Jealousy is not love. And a person who refuses to let you walk away has already shown you exactly who they are. Danyel Sims did not survive that night. But because of what she did, because of the choice she made in those final seconds, her son is still alive. That is a mother's love. And no one can ever take that away. Crystal deserved to go home. Danyel deserved to walk back through her front door. And Malachi deserved to grow up with both of them by his side. If this story stayed with you, if it made you think of someone, or if you believe more people need to hear it, please share this video right now. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to True Crime Station if you haven't already. We are here every week, telling the stories that matter and honoring the names the world needs to remember. What do you think justice truly looks like for Crystal and Danyel? And is there a case in your city that deserves to be told? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. We'll see you in the next one.